Hello Year 3, Mr. Dice here again. This is week 2 of our collage work. Now the preparation, the work you did last week, which was the painting of those beautiful rainbows and how well you all did with that, is going to be used for the artwork that we're going to produce now. The artwork was based, as you can remember, on work by Paul Clay, which was called Highways and Byways. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use the work we did last week, which is now beautifully dry, to cut and stick to make it into something completely different from how it looks now. So you will need a pair of scissors, a ruler, some Pritt stick, and a piece of A4 card, the same size as the paper that you worked on before. And when you've got all those things together and you check you've got them, and crayons. Don't forget you'll need some crayons as well, because that's quite an important part. Yeah, crayons. So when you've got all those things together, I'll show you how to make that beautiful collage, or cutting and sticking as I call it. So this is the sort of thing that we're aiming for. I've cut out the paper that I worked on last week and rearranged it on the paper. I've got the sky at the top. I've got this broader area here, which is the sort of central part of it, which is going to be the highway that is the main road, as it were, that running through. And all of these little byways, the smaller sections down through here. So now I'll show you now how I've gone about making that. It's quite straightforward, but you do have to stick to one or two rules. So I'm going to flip this over onto its back, because I'm going to use the back of this piece of cardboard to show you what we're doing. I'm also going to take the piece of work that I did with you last week, which is the rainbow piece. And if we look at here, we can see that this part is going to be the blue part, which is going to be the sky, and this I'm going to rearrange to make into the shapes that we need. So the first thing we need to do is this. I'm going to fold this piece of paper and I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to pull this bit back so I can see where to fold it. So as I'll show you that again. I'm putting it down here. I know that I've got the blue at the top, because this is where the blue is. So I'm turning it over. I've got the blue at the top, and I'm just going to fold that back so I can just see blue. I don't want to see too much yellow or any other colour. I want to see the blue. When I've got that, I need to make sure that I've got the edges are straight. And I mean, when I say edges straight, I mean this edge here, this edge here. When I've done that, I can put a line across that, and I'm going to rub it with my nail as usual. When I say keeping the edges straight, I mean you can't see, they haven't gone, let me show you, they haven't gone across like this, or across like so, or even the other way, but they just line up like so. That's the most difficult thing you've got to do. So if you open it back up again, you've got a line, and in fact it's easier to see the line on the other side. And all I'm going to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut really carefully along that line. And so now I've got the blue bit that's going to be at the top of my picture. Now, because I'm working with card, I find it's easier to glue the card rather than the paper. So I'm going to put this down here. I know it's got to come down about this far. So I'm going to use my Pritt stick and I'm going to glue, being careful, going right to the edges because that's important. I'm putting a bit of pressure on there, so I'm going to glue down on the cardboard. It's much easier than trying to stick a bit of wobbly paper. And then what I'm going to do is carefully line that up and put that down, and I can slide it slightly because the glue is wet, and then I'm going to press that down nice and hard. And there I've got my sky in. So now that leaves me with this. I've got the rest of it here that I've cut off. In fact, I cut it off from there. So I'm going to put this away for a moment, and I'm just going to concentrate on looking at this part. So I'm going to take my ruler, and again I'm going to put the ruler, and I'm going to put it not so it's like this, so I can see some of the colours, or like that so I can't see any of the colours. I'm going to put it just here so I can see that I've got it completely lined up. When I've got it lined up, I'm going to take one of my crayons, a dark one, and I'm going to put a lot of weight on this hand, the hand I'm not drawing with. I'm going to push the ruler down so it doesn't slip around when I draw that line. So I'm going to draw 1 or 2 lines that come down. So now I've got almost like a margin there. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to put that ruler there. I'm going to not so it's crooked like that or crooked like that. I'm going to see just so I can see that black line running all the way along. And this is important because it'll make your work better when we come to cut and stick it. So I've got 2 parallel lines, or 3 if we count the edge. 1, 2, 3. I've got quite a large space here, and I don't want quite so much a big space there. So I'm going to put this like so, and I'm going to come across carefully for the 3rd time. So now I have got a larger space here on this side. This space is that big, and bigger than these spaces. So I've got 1 big one and 3 that are the same size if I cut them out now. But I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to put it on the edge here so I can see the black line I did, and then I'm just going to push that up a little bit with both hands, and I'm going to try and make that so I can see that I've got an edge here. It doesn't matter. I'm going to cut this one in half. So I've got a large, 2 mediums and 2 small, but now we're ready to cut. So I've got large, 2 mediums and 2 small, and I got the 2 small by cutting one of the medium ones in half. So now what I've got to do is be careful with my scissors and just make those cuts. So I'm cutting down like so. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to cut this one first of all. Now this is another tricky little bit we've got to do. One there. I'm going to cut another one of these medium ones. Well, I might as well cut all of them actually, so you can see what I'm doing. So there we go. I've got my 2 mediums, my 2 small, and my large one. So we're now ready to go. So I'm going back up to my blue sky one. Now I want a large one and a medium one, and then after that you can have some fun, because this now is going to be stuck like so, but I want to make sure that it will fit in with this one. So I tell you what I could do. I could put, before sticking it, I'm going to work out how much that 1.5 would be. So before I stick it down, I'm going to make sure that I haven't got too much left over, so I don't have to trim some. So the other ones will fit on, and you can fit them on however you want, like so, so that you know that it will fit. So now I'm just going to carefully take that paper away and take that paper away, but I'm going to leave this one here, and I'm going to just put 4 little marks, or if you find that difficult doing the 4 marks, leave these 2 bits on and just peel this one off. It's got a little bit of sticky on it from the last one. So now, because I made the marks, I know where to put my glue really, but if you don't worry about that. Just leave these 2 pieces on. Plenty of glue on the glue stick, and then I'm looking here and finding, so I'm going by 2 ways now. I'm going by these 2 pieces and this piece. And again, I've got to really, it's like wallpapering. You've got to really make sure now that you press that down and you don't get any bubbles in it. So now we know that we've got enough space for all of those to go back on and fit it in. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take one of these and we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to take one of these and we're going to cut it somewhere along there. Doesn't really matter where. So we've got so. And now, if I don't know if you can see, but if I put that one this way around, it matches up completely with the colours that we've got. And because I want it different, I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to turn that round. I'm going to put some glue along there. It doesn't matter if it goes slightly over the top of what we're doing. So now the colours won't match up. Can you see the difference now? Those colours are completely out of order. And with this one, if I put it like so, they would be in order. Whereas if I turn it round, it's going to be different. So we don't want, before we had the rainbows and they all looked beautiful as they went around. So we've got that, and I might do this whole one down through here. I might just leave this one whole, just get rid of that bit of glue. I've got to make sure that I'm not connecting up the same colours. So I'll just pop that like so. And that can go down, and you can do this in any order. And then I've got these 2 to do. Again, I could put it back like that so that the order goes, and I think I will on this one. So I'm just doing a little bit of gluing. Because we sort of measured it, that's going to fit. It doesn't matter if there's slight gaps, that will fit there. I'll just rush along with this one. And this will fit here. So I don't want to put it like so, because that's the same as the other one. I'm going to flip it around and put it like this. So I haven't got the 2 colours matching. Now, when that's dried a little bit, what I want you to do is to take a dark crayon. And with that dark crayon, I want you to go around the outside of one of those, or each of those spaces that we've got. Now you might find that if the glue's a bit wet, you might have to go a little bit carefully with that, because we've only just done it. So what I'm doing is I'm just making a little frame almost to go around those separate colours that I mixed. So once you've done your frame around there, what I want you to do is to put, and you can use different coloured, here I'm going to use an orange one for here. You just want some, we're making all the byways now. Now you don't want to put too much in, 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 at the most marks on each one. And on the darker ones I'm using a darker crayon, and on the lighter ones I can use a lighter crayon. So on the green I'll put a green here. So 3 or 4 marks on each one. And then if you can see on this one, I've got my green where I've got some uncoloured paper here. I'm just going to go over that like so. And because I've got a blue here, which is a darker colour, let me find my blue crayon or purple crayon. So I'm just filling in those gaps that I'd left, some of you left, when you were doing your painting. So it was you have to remember that this larger one's going to go in the middle. You've got to remember that using our ruler, we're going to cut 2 medium ones and 2 small ones by cutting 1 medium one in half. We're going to stick this one on first of all. Then we're going to make sure that we haven't got these colour blocks all in a row. And then we're going to add, if I show you quite carefully there, I'll just turn that light off so it might make a bit of difference. You should be able to see the little marks that I've made on each of those byways that are running through the main. So it's just going to be that sort of pattern. So I'll finish this one off so you'll see it when I've got there. In fact, if I just show you this bit here, there's a lot of white in this bit here, and so I can now, when the glue's dry, I can spend a bit of time finishing that off and colouring that in. So, as usual, have a bit of fun with that, and I'll see you live in the lesson. See how far we've got and what have we done. Again, just take it carefully and you'll be fine. See you later.